It would be impossible to talk about emotional narratives in open-world games without highlighting Arthur Morgan and his journey of redemption in Red Dead Redemption 2. He starts as a no-good outlaw, who eventually starts mending his ways as he tries to do the right thing. At least this is the intended narrative on a high-honor playthrough, which maximizes the narrative's emotional poignancy. Eventually, the tuberculosis he contracts becomes fatal near the end of his story, and he must come to terms with his mortality, while also grappling with the reality that his found family is slowly falling apart. Between Jose's death, Micah's dark whispers, and Dutch's runaway paranoia and selfishness, Arthur struggles to leave the world, and those he loves in a better place before meeting his inevitable fate. Thankfully, he did enough good in life to be granted the gift of watching one final sunrise before drawing his last breath. Ghost of Tsushima delivers heartbreak through Jin Sakai's sacrifices to save his home. As a samurai turned rogue, Jin breaks his honor code to fight the Mongols, earning his uncle Shimomura's rejection. The final duel, where you choose to kill or spare Shimomura, is devastating. Killing him honors his samurai ideals, but ends his life. Sparing him lets him live, but severs their bond. Side quests amplify the pain. A mother mourns her son killed by bandits, while Yuna's trauma from her abusive past cuts deep. The island of Tsushima, with its windswept fields and burning villages, reflects the cost of war. Jin's journey from dutiful nephew to outcast, sacrificing his identity for others, leave you aching. Players often tear up during the final duel, the weight of family and honor crushing them.
Final Fantasy XV has its issues, but the friendship at the heart of this experience is so palpable that players will be invested despite the game's missteps. It helps that the open world is beautiful and combat looks cinematic, even if it may feel a bit too rudimentary. By the end of the tale, Noctis's heroic sacrifice will cause players to weep as he gives up everything to save the world from Arden and the Star Scourge. The post-credits scene depicting the last time he canceled his friends makes for the final emotional nail in the coffin that cements the brilliance of this title, which overcomes most of its flaws.
The beauty of Cyberpunk 2077 stems from its incredible narrative, which fans could finally fully appreciate after all the game's bugs were ironed out. V is a fun character to control, as players do everything in their power to help them regain control of their body after a botched Arasaka heist. Johnny Silverhand's engram is slowly taking over their mind, and V will always be too late to reverse this takeover by the time they reach the end. While the Phantom Liberty expansion gives V another chance at life, everyone around them assumed they were dead and had already moved on, making them an outsider even after they're being cured.
Fans familiar with the original Final Fantasy VII already knew the key moments that Rebirth would likely cover. This made for the grueling and inevitable finale as Sephiroth lands the mortal blow on Aerith, taking her out for good. While the game does experiment with this moment a bit too much for many fans' liking, it's still a powerful story beat that makes for an emotional climax to the game. It doesn't help that Cloud is unable to accept his loss, making it clear that the Mako poisoning has addled his mind way more than fans expect. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt breaks you with choices that feel like traps. The Bloody Baron's quest guts you. His abusive past with Anna leads to her madness or death. And note the Baron's potential suicide, his body hanging if you save her. Ciri's fate stings worse. Fail her, and she dies fighting the White Frost, leaving Geralt broken. Hearts of Stone's Allgeared loses everything to a Devilsteel, and you can't fully save him. Every choice feels like a wound in a world of war and loss. Players loved Insomniac's take on Spider-Man, with the titular webhead finally getting the video game he truly deserved. Swing across the streets of New York City and stopping robberies or chasing down runaway cars makes for a great time. However, one of Marvel's Spider-Man's strongest elements is its mature story that isn't afraid to deal with devastating moments of loss and despair. Watching Miles and Peter lose their parental figures and feeling Peter's selflessness and pain as Dr. Octavius descends into villainy are hard to witness and make for powerful emotional beats in a game that simultaneously embodies the cheerful and humorous tone of many Spider-Man stories.
NieR Automata is one of the best action-packed video games ever made. The open world is small, yet riveting to explore, and the unique endings ensure that repeatedly playing this game is more rewarding than anyone could expect. Some of the conclusions in this tale are incredibly emotional and will cause many fans to shed a tear. It's easy to see why Yoko Taro's name was officially on the map after this title blew up in popularity, allowing players to enjoy one of the most unique open-world games around that combines emotional storytelling with addicting hack-and-slash combat, showcasing Platinum games at their very best.
The Last of Us Part 2 is a brutal exploration of grief and revenge. Ellie's journey begins with Joel's gruesome murder by Abby, sparking a bloody quest for vengeance. You slaughter Abby's friends, each with their own lives and loves, only to realize the cycle of violence destroys everyone. When Ellie spares Abby after a grueling fight, it's not mercy, it's exhaustion, as she's lost Jesse, her friend, and Dina, her partner, who leaves with their baby. Flashbacks of Joel teaching Ellie guitar or confessing his lie about the Fireflies hit like emotional landmines, reminding you of their bond and what's gone. The open world sections, like Seattle's flooded streets, feel heavy with despair, and every choice feels like a betrayal of Joel's memory. The game's unflinching violence, stabbing enemies who beg for their lives, makes you question Ellie's path, leaving you hollow. Players often cry during the final flashback of Ellie forgiving Joel, a moment of love overshadowed by loss.
At the start of Shadow of the Colossus, most players assume that Wander is on a noble quest to revive his mysterious loved one Mono. They have no idea of the lengths he's willing to go to for the same, satisfying the dark wishes of a sealed entity named Dorman. As Wander takes out each Colossi, it's clear that some form of corruption is taking hold of him. It turns out that he was willing to sacrifice his own body to save his love, making for a melancholic ending as the revived Mono finds Wander in his childlike state, which adds a tinge of hope to an otherwise bleak conclusion.
Silent Hill 2 is a fog-choked descent into guilt and loss. James Sunderland searches for his dead wife Mary in Silent Hill, where Psyche manifests monsters like Pyramid Head. The truth hits hard. James smothered Mary, unable to bear her terminal illness and his own resentment. Maria, a doppelganger he meets, dies repeatedly, mirroring his failure to save Mary. The town's oppressive atmosphere, foggy streets, decaying buildings, reflects James' torment. The in-water ending, where James drowns himself to join Mary, or the Leave ending, where he walks away broken. Both devastate. The remake's expanded environment and Maria's Born from a Witch side story deepen the sorrow. Players often cry over Mary's final letter, her love clashing with James's guilt, leaving a raw, lingering pain.
Persona 3 Reloaded is a bittersweet meditation on death. You play a transfer student leading SEES against shadows in the dark hour. The story's heart is its theme of mortality. Shinjiro's death in Akihiko's arms as Koromaru howls at the moon is a tearjerker. Social links, like Akinari's mother grieving her terminally ill son, add personal stakes. The protagonist's sacrifice to seal Nyx, smiling as he fades on the rooftop with Aegis's tears falling, is crushing. Tartarus' eerie tower and Port Island's vibrant yet doomed vibe amplify the melancholy. The Answer DLC makes it worse, showing SEES grappling with your death. Players often sob over the ending, hit by Hast's bonds and the protagonist's quieted acceptance of fate.
Grand Theft Auto 4 features what is easily the most mature and darkest tale told in the series. Nico Bellic's descent into a life of crime helps him earn a pretty penny, but he also exposes himself to dangerous figures who want to take him out. Depending on Nico's actions, he will either lose Roman or Kate before the game's final mission. Even after hunting down the man responsible for their deaths, Nico is left a hollow man after losing one of the most important people in his life.
Omori is a psychological gut punch that blends surreal whimsy with crushing reality. You play Sunny, a teen hiding in the colorful dream world of Headspace as Omori, escaping a traumatic past. The truth unravels. Sunny accidentally kills his sister Mari during an argument, pushing her down the stairs, and his friend Basil helps cover it up, staging it as a suicide. This revelation, paired with the group's grief, especially Hiro's pain over failing to save Mari, hits like a sledgehammer. The final duel with Basil, where Sunny confronts his guilt and the choice to forgive himself or not, leaves you sobbing. The grounded reality of faraway town, contrasted with Headspace's vibrant denial, amplifies the trauma. Players report crying for hours over the true ending, haunted by Sunny's self-hatred and the friends' fractured bonds.